Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs have one of the top quarterbacks in all of college football returning for the 2021 season. Of course, that is JT Daniels, the guy who could push for the Heisman Trophy this year. But after watching some clips of Carson Beck throw on the 4th of July down in Jacksonville, clips that you can watch over on Dog Post, it kind of got me thinking. I started to think, if something were to happen to JT Daniels, the world starts falling apart, JT Daniels has something happen to him, how far can this Georgia team go with Carson Beck? And now I'm assuming that Carson Beck is going to be the backup to JT Daniels this year, as he should. I don't think they should be throwing Stetson Bennett out there as the number 2 guy. Carson Beck is the real deal. If y'all have been watching these videos or if you've been on Dog Post in the last 2 years, you know that we are Carson Beck guys. I watched him throw in person on Halloween 2019. The guy could throw the ball. He's got some zip on it, and I think he could really push for a starting job at multiple places in the SEC. But of course, he's behind JT Daniels this year. But I think the dude can throw it. And if I'm looking over Georgia's schedule, I still think that this team should win the East and make a big-time run, even if they had Carson Beck. Now, could they do the same thing with Stetson Bennett? I think the answer is no. They definitely don't beat Clemson with Stetson Bennett. Maybe they beat Florida. But we talked about the schedule, and it is fairly easy. This is the year that Georgia needs to make a giant national championship run. They've got the talent. They've got the quarterback. They've got the offense. They've got the scheme. And they've got the schedule. So with JT Daniels, they should be playing for the national championship this year. They should be a playoff team, and this should be the year that they do go all the way. I've said that, for months now, even before they started adding guys like Darian Kendrick to the secondary and Eric Gilbert as well. So y'all know by now what I think this team should accomplish this year. But again, we've got to make videos in the offseason, and one of the most popular guys on the roster, at least last year, was the backup quarterback, no matter who it was. So again, it got me thinking, if Carson Beck were to take the reins of this team, how far could they go? Could they beat Clemson? Probably not. Maybe if he has the game of his life, they might have a chance. But after that, UAB. Yes, Carson Beck is leading Georgia to a win over UAB. He's also leading them to a win over South Carolina. Vanderbilt, that's a win. Arkansas, maybe that's a game that Georgia kind of sleepwalks through in the first half. They turn it up a notch in the second half and blow them out. But Georgia has enough talent, and they've got the scheme to beat Arkansas, probably with Stetson Bennett too. But this video is about Carson, so yes, that's a win. Auburn. In Auburn, they've got the new coach. We know Bo Nix probably can't beat Georgia. I don't think he's going to. He's had his troubles there for sure. Yes, I think Carson Beck can lead Georgia to a victory over Auburn on the Plains this year. So that's another win. We get to Kentucky in Sanford Stadium. Carson Beck can beat Kentucky. Then it comes to Florida. If you're telling me Emory Jones is better than Carson Beck, I'm not sure I believe you. Emory Jones has not done much of anything with Florida. He's not a guy like Kyle Trask. He doesn't have the arm. Yeah, he's probably a little more mobile, but the dude's not running through tackles. He's not a Tim Tebow type of guy, and he doesn't have the arm that Kyle Trask does. So I am skeptical of Emory Jones and what he's going to bring to the table for Florida this year. With JT Daniels, I think Georgia should win this game. With Carson Beck, I think it could be a toss-up, but again, if he's thrown into the fire that game, who knows? If he has to take the reins week 2 or 3, and we're in the midway part of the season now, he gets better and better. Yeah, he could beat the Gators. I think Georgia is coming for vengeance after last year too. I think they are going to take no mercy on Florida if they can. If you're Kirby, you got to think about running up the score. If that's possible, you've got to put them in their place like they were, and prove that last year was a fluke with Kyle Trask starting for Florida, who had an incredible year. He was very, very good all year, as we saw against Stetson Bennett. They should have won that game, and they did, even though Georgia got off to that big lead. Georgia's got to put them back in their place this year for sure. And I think they could still do that with Carson Beck. But again, with JT, that should be a win. Missouri, a team slowly trying to get better and better. Carson Beck can beat them in Athens. There's no doubt in my mind. And with JT Daniels, who lit them up last year at Missouri, he should be able to do the same thing. Tennessee coming to town at that point, man, they're going to struggle this year. There's no doubt about that. JT Daniels should be able to throw all over them. And again, I like Carson Beck. I think Carson Beck could beat Tennessee as well. And I'm not just saying this because I cover Georgia. I'm saying it because I know this team. I know it very well. I covered a lot of these players in high school. I know what they can do, and I know what Carson can do. He hasn't been able to show his talent yet on the field on a Saturday, other than G-Day, where he did have some really nice throws. But I know that he can beat these teams with his arm. And again, going back and just watching clips of him training back down in Jacksonville with his old trainer, the ball just zips out of his hand. He's not a small guy by any means. He looks good. He's lean and fit, and he's got a live arm. There's no doubt about it. It comes from a military family, very smart kid, and I think if he were to be given an opportunity to make a lot of plays this year or next year after JT Daniels, that he's going to make them. Again, the final two games, Charleston Southern and Georgia Tech, those are both wins with Stetson Bennett, much less Carson Beck. So they're in a really good position this year. There's no doubt. They have one of the best in college football in JT Daniels. Carson Beck is ready. I think he's eager to get out there and show what he can do. He could have transferred. He didn't. He's one of the best backups in the SEC, maybe in college football in my eyes. Stetson Bennett, a guy who beat Auburn last year, a guy who beat Tennessee last year, came in and beat Arkansas last year. Is there a number 3 quarterback in the country better than Stetson Bennett? I don't know. And then, of course, you have 5-star Brock Vandegrift, who threw some ropes at G-Day back in the spring. He's going to have his opportunity, and he's going to do really, really well. But I'm not sure Brock is going to get the nod over Stetson Bennett or Carson Beck, even when in a blowout scenario. So either way, there's a lot to like. This might be the most talented quarterback room Georgia's had in quite a bit. I know they did have Fromm and Fields on there at the same time. Technically, Jacob Eason, Fromm, and Fields were all practicing together for about a week before that national championship game. But it's easy to know to notice the talent on the roster right now. And even if something were to happen to JT Daniels, not saying something is going to happen to him, but just playing the hypothetical game here, if Carson Beck were to take over this year, I think Georgia should still win the East, and I still think that they would have a pretty good season. Guys, you can watch all of his clips from this past weekend over on Dog Post. Check it out over on the website. There's a lot of great stuff we have over there. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I will see you over on the website.